This is CJ Standel, creator of Rebirth of the Gangster, and you're listening to This Freakin' Show.
What's up, everyone? I am Travesty.
I'm Awkward Colin.
And I'm Geekcast Joe.
And welcome to another episode of This Freakin' Show, the weekly podcast with a little bit of something and a whole lot of nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry. This doesn't flow as well, I don't think.
Hey, he said after
but
you,
know what?
so...
You know what? You know what would make it flow better? Is if I had myself a high-quality tie for a low price. And if I wanted something like that, I could probably go over to wearedapperties.com and find one for just $15. And if I used the discount code Freakin, that's Freakin, I bet I could get free shipping on my order. What do you guys think?
Oh, that sounds like a great
I'm
deal.
fucking dying over here.
You know what would help you is if you went on over to wearedapperties.com and picked yourself up a knit tie today.
And then you know what? After you get your knit tie, you can go over to our down home country cooking restaurant of Firepit Bar and Grill of Peotone, where every Monday and Wednesday for $7.99 you can get a burger and beer. Great food too. Pleasant atmosphere. And you can find them at on Facebook at Firepit Bar, or at their website, firepit.com.
Yeah.
How'd I do for my first?
That's pretty good. I think you did better than me.
Oh man.
I'm going to buy 3 or 4 of those ties and loop them together. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit. Yeah. Just drove right into that brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. But you know something? Yeah, but know something we tried. We tried something different. We tried something new. And not only that, it's not that, we tried before we recorded. We decided to give it a go for the first time while recording this episode.
I'm all about it. I mean, Wile E. Coyote silhouette in the wall,
Right? I mean, and I gotta admit, I think that was like a 45% success right there.
Oh, no, I'd say 60 at least.
At least 60?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he said everything he needed to say, right? And then I said everything I needed to say, right? So at least, it was just the timing and extra stuff added.
Oh my god. That was wonderful. Holy shit. I never laughed so hard on mute before in my life. How you guys doing tonight? Besides what we just did.
Well,
I don't
know.
Joe.
I'm excited for our guest.
I have no idea what's going on with you. That's why I asked, man.
Is that why you asked?
That is the worst. That is the worst response ever. Oh, you know. What the hell, man?
Well, I'm breathing. I got oxygen coming into my lungs and out of my lungs.
Is that what it is? Still living in Chicago, still going to school. Oh, you.
Right? Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's kind of it. I had the most frustrating experience I've ever had today, but I'm saving that for the Follow Your Star.
Okay.
But other than that, it's all good. All good in the hood.
I'm glad to hear that. And as Joe did mention, we do have a guest this evening. This is Joe's get as far as getting a guest this evening. So applaud to Joe.
Congrats, Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I feel like he probably reached out to me, but I'll take the credit.
Oh, he definitely did reach out to you.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean,
we want our guests to reach out.
We do, and that's what
I'm excited though. It's been a while since we've had this guest on, so
yeah.
he's got some new
so
stuff
you're
in the
hinting
works.
at it is a previous guest we've had.
I am.
Okay.
Indeed, I am, me old cock, and long may your big jib draw,
What?
as they say in Newfoundland before they drink their black rum.
Okay then.
What the fuck, Joe? Oh, you know. Yeah, no, you're right. This is a guest
I'm
we
just
have.
folksy, okay? It's just a thing that I am.
Joe, how much have you had to drink today?
Like 3 sips of red wine.
Oh, there you go.
4 now.
It's gone straight to his head.
Holy shit. But yeah, no, we do have a guest on this evening, and not only is it a returning guest, this appearance on this episode ties him for the most returned guest.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. So now this man is now tied, and there we go. Another clue. A man is now tied with the Vengeful Jedi as our most reoccurring returning guest on this freaking show.
I like it.
So I'm
Nice.
super excited for this. I'm so excited that I think we should just push everything back until later on the show, and let's get him on right now and give a little chit chat.
Perfect.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Let's plug a podcast, which I don't know why any podcast would want to be promoted on what we just did, but regardless, let's plug them and then we'll come back with our guest.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jason.
And I'm Jeff. We're from the History of Bad Ideas podcast.
You know what you're listening to right now, Jeff?
What are we listening to right now?
This freaking show.
This freaking show?
This freaking show. And when you're not listening to this freaking show, take a listen to the History of Bad Ideas.
Where we talk about sports
Movies
and other pop culture events happening.
in the world. So take a listen. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, and any other place that you find great podcasts like This Freaking Show.
This freaking show.
All right, and we are back with our returning guest, CJ Standel. Welcome,
Thanks again.
buddy.
Oh, yeah. Thanks again, guys. Great being back on. I'm excited.
Yeah, us too. Welcome back.
Yeah,
It's
thanks.
been a long time, I feel like.
Yeah, it is. It's been a while. I think part of that was there was a little bit of a slower process for this last issue. So that was part of it, I think. And then I think maybe I don't know if we actually got together for issue 7, so maybe we also just missed that one specifically too. But I do know issue 8, which is coming out. I sent you guys a preview copy, but it's coming out the 28th, so in about a week and a half here next Wednesday. And I think that's the biggest thing is it was just like a 3.5 month long issue or a process to get this issue done. And that part of it was, to be honest, a little my fault that I kind of I got a later start on that script than normal. So Juan Romero, my artist, was kind of working a little bit behind from what he normally does, but he was also, I think, going a little bit slower because he has some other projects to do. So that was kind of a little experience, a little frustrating. I think I'm already kind of like almost halfway done with issue 9 script, so I'm hoping to learn from some of those lessons, and hopefully we get issue 9 out a lot sooner.
Fantastic. Well, that's let's see. I think the last time we had you on, it was just before your first arc came out on Amazon.
Real quick, I looked it up. The last time you were on was episode 36, and that was in July.
July. Okay, yeah. So that would have been right. Yeah, like you're saying, right when the first arc issues 1 through 7, Meet the Family, was coming out in the first print copy, and yeah, you can order it on Amazon, even Create Space, but Amazon's probably easier. So yeah, I guess we didn't get together for the 7th issue or issue 8, which is coming out, like I said, in about a week and a half. So yeah, it's been a long time. I think I know that getting that paperback done and just getting the printed copy out, that kind of took a lot out of me. So I think maybe that also was probably a little bit of what was going on.
Yeah, I could see how that would be. So that's fantastic. So catch us up to where we're at. I'm sure any of our listeners who have been following along are probably curious about where things have been left off and what they can look forward to in the upcoming issue.
Sure, yeah. So I think for those who read the first story arc, obviously we ended on a pretty violent and explosive finale. So kind of issue 7 and 8 have been a little bit about picking up the pieces with that. Lorraine, I'm trying to kind of avoid too many spoilers, but we're starting to see Lorena in issue 8, the detective who's been kind of on Hunter's case, is kind of starting to see a little bit of what happened at the end of with that violent end in issue 6. Hunter is feeling a little bit of the ramifications of that, and we've been seeing Marcus kind of get sucked down even further into, I guess, like Hunter's kind of just into Hunter's just kind of grip
Psychosis,
and
maybe.
Yeah, psychosis. Yeah, and then so that's kind of what's been going on. Linda, Hunter's mom, has, I think, as kind of we saw, was dealing a little bit with some addiction, and so now she's been kind of going to Narcotics Anonymous and actually met a friend through there, and kind of that's kind of where her story arc's going right now. Although we're actually gonna in issue 10 kind of come back to a secret that she's been hiding from Hunter and pretty much everybody. So that's kind of exciting. Andrea, Marcus's mom, kind of is in issue 8 probably the star of, I guess, in terms of like she's the star of our probably biggest action sequence for issue 8, and then that's going to kind of dovetail into issue 9, which is going to actually feature a car chase. So I'm pretty excited for that, especially since, to be honest, it wasn't actually quite originally in the initial story arc I planned a couple of years ago, but after I've seen kind of how Juan is able to really kind of get some nice dynamic shots in some of the past car scenes we've had, it was kind of a scene that I tailored to write for him. And so that's exciting to see. Hopefully he's going to be able to shine in that. I haven't obviously seen any images yet, but I'm pretty excited about that. So that's mainly it. And then, of course, I forgot to mention Dennis, but he's just still kind of been almost Hunter's like right hand man in this plan, which we'll pretty much start to the end of issue 9 as well. We'll really start to see his plan come to fruition, and then 10 is where Marcus is going to be starting to deal with some of the effects of that plan. So we're really, I know we kind of had like a slow reveal with what his plan is, but we're really we're going to actually finally like unearth the secrets of that plan, and then that's just going to set everything into motion for the rest of the series.
That's fantastic. So if I hear you correctly, the basic arc so far has been, we've kind of met all of the characters. We've kind of had the initiating moment that's going to lead to the rest of the arcs, and so this is sort of step 1 after the inciting incident for the big arcs that are going to be carrying the rest of the story.
Yep, right on. And I think, that was partly why I called the first arc Meet the Family, because it was kind of just laying the foundations for that. There's also, I guess, kind of like even though nobody really is in the mob in the story, it does also have kind of like the connotations of Meet the Family and mafia crime style. So that's kind of also why I had it titled that way. But yeah, I think once this whole series is over, it's kind of, I think the way I've approached it is kind of like the way a really classic novel like really sets a lot of the foundation in the first quarter, or a little bit quarter, like the first fifth of the series, and then really everything after that just kind of really starts building up and up even more. And so that's kind of the way I've been approaching it. So it might be slightly different. I think if you look at any of the big names, Marvel or DC, obviously the first story arc probably is going to have a little more action than Rebirth of the Gangster did, but I think it was something that was really necessary for us to get to know the characters, and then for us to see how these events really impact them and how they react, and really have a good feel for the characters, and to make it hopefully feel authentic instead of just actions happening for the sake of action. It's really supposed to kind of like unfurl slowly, but hopefully as realistically as it can, while also being entertaining, of course.
Right, absolutely. Well, and one of the things that I really like about the Meet the Family arc is not just that sort of gangster feel to it, but it's this idea that the actions of the characters in the present is tied not only to their own actions in the past, but the actions of their parents, and the way that their parents' arcs have interacted in the past.
Right on, and that's a big part of the reason why I called it Rebirth of the Gangster, not like Birth of the Gangster or anything like that. It was to try to hint at that kind of like cyclical effect, or cyclical effect of the past, and familial legacy coming back to haunt people. So it's a big part of the reason why I named it that. Aside from also it's kind of a slight allusion or shout out to a Outcast song called Rebirth of the G, or Return of the G, or Return of the G. Sorry, I can't speak right now. Return of the G for Return of the Gangster. So there are kind of a couple of reasons that I had that specific title, but a big part was to really focus on this idea of this cycle of kind of violence, secrets, and all that, and crime and this type of stuff, and also hopefully maybe to as we'll keep exploring to see if it's possible to break out of that cycle. And I think maybe we'll find some people are more successful than others in doing that. And some people don't even try to break out of the cycle. So that's I'm going to try to play with all the permutations throughout the series to see, so that it's not just like everybody breaks out of the cycle or nobody does. I'm hoping to make it a little more, I guess, complex and realistic, and just to kind of look at the issue from a couple different perspectives and sides.
Right, absolutely. Because like from a traditional narrative, literary perspective, Marcus and Hunter are kind of foils, right?
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think
That's
we'll start, and I think Andrea and Linda are foils to a degree, but especially I think we'll start to see those foils even more as the series goes on. And I guess, I mean, Lorena and Dennis aren't quite foils for each other, but they are in the sense foils that I mean, Lorena is the one who's really representing law and order, and Dennis is struggling with whether he wants to follow, whether he wants to go back into his old ways, which is why he was in prison before the series even started, or whether he's truly trying to make a start of it. So I think there's kind of there are foils in the sense of Dennis and Lorena are foils in the sense that they both kind of look at a different perspective on justice, and even I think as we've seen Lorena struggling a little bit with being so focused on her job, we're starting to see maybe that Dennis and Lorena are kind of opposite extremes of each other, and they might start coming more towards the center, or at least that would be the healthy thing to do, that Dennis would start going more towards living a normal, lawful life, and that maybe Lorena would focus a little bit less on her job and justice and focus a little more on her life, and especially her relationship with Anne. So I think that was kind of, once I got to 6 characters, I did like how they kind of nicely paired up into looking at different perspectives on similar issues or similar relationships.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you've mentioned in the past that your sort of day job is English teacher.
Yep.
How do you see these stories now that you've kind of introduced the characters and you can actually kind of get into the meat of the narrative? How do you see the ways that these characters' arcs connect with your students' lives?
So I mean, I would say, for instance, so I guess Marcus, part of what his struggle is that he essentially feels like, because he's from this well-to-do family and all this, and that he has these expectations from his parents to act right or act proper, while there's also kind of some influences from not necessarily his peer group, but just essentially from other maybe African Americans around him that are trying to essentially portray him almost maybe not as a traitor, but I think as one of the characters says, like a bitch, essentially. Sorry for the language, but so I guess part of what I've been seeing in Marcus is that is a struggle I do see in many of my students, of whether they want to be like authentically themselves, or whether they want to act the way their parents expect them to act, or whether they want to act the way their peers expect them to act. So that's kind of one thing I've been seeing with Marcus specifically. I know that Lorena's backstory, which we haven't gotten as much as I kind of originally planned, but the backstory, for instance, of her dad being taken away by the INS, since it was a couple decades ago, obviously be ICE now. But I have actually had some students some Latina students who have had family members impacted by deportation. And so that's something that has influenced a little bit of that story. Dennis's girlfriend, or well, not girlfriend, I guess, but they started going out they're going on a date. I'm kind of spoiling a little bit, but in issue 8, they're going on a date, and her name's Lizeth, and she's actually drawn from a specific student I have. Even the name is tied to the student Lizeth. So that's something that kind of is tied to what I've been seeing in my 8 years of teaching. And then other than that, I guess even just Hunter, his name is stolen from a couple of students I've had, that it just seemed I teach in like a growing suburb, and so a lot of the students that I've taught named Hunter tend to be similar to the Hunter in the comic, in that they're kind of more like blue collar workers. Sorry, blue collar workers who tend not to be really trusting of authority and stuff like that. So I guess there are kind of like bits and pieces from a lot of my students that influence my characters. Although obviously none of my students, at least hopefully, are doing anything remotely or anything like what Hunter's doing, and thinking or kind of coming up with that diabolical plot. But there are kind of like bits and pieces that I pull on, and then other than that, it's just kind of what other people I know in real life, and even just, I guess, some story arcs that I've seen in other pieces of literature. Like even Marcus is somewhat influenced by, I guess, the two Shakespearean influences he has is Othello and Macbeth. Othello, obviously for the reason that he's an African American who's successful and faces some sort of part of, I think, what motivates Hunter is kind of like the jealousy that motivates Iago when he's trying to take down Othello. But then also you can see in Marcus kind of the idea of Macbeth of being kind of slowly tempted and making wrong decisions. As I think, kind of to paraphrase Macbeth, he says something along the lines of like, "I've waded so far in blood that to go back is just as tedious as to keep going." And so there's some element of Marcus's journey that is also like that he's kind of started making some bad choices, and once he really starts to see what he's in for, he has to make that decision of, can I go back, or is it worth it? Am I too far in? That type of dilemma. So there are kind of just a lot of different influences, and Macbeth is something, for instance, that I've actually taught almost every year I've been at my school. So I think teaching something over and over for like 3 classes a day for 8 years can sometimes also worm its way into my head and also influence some of the characters. So that's a little bit of what we're seeing.
Gotcha. That's fantastic.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, I'm struck by some things with Marcus's narrative. So I live in Chicago, and I do ministry work in a lot of social justice circles.
Okay.
And so a lot of the things that you hear from African American students is this idea that you have to work twice as hard to get half as far. Yep. And there's this huge tension for many of them with, if I work really hard, am I trying to get out, or am I trying to be successful so I can bring my success back into my community?
Yeah.
And it sounds like that's something that he's really struggling with, or going to be struggling with as the story progresses.
Yeah, and I would even say even his dad, Curtis, to some degree, I think we've seen a little bit of that dilemma just even in the first issue alone. He starts the Curtis Thompson Charity for Disadvantaged Youth. I might be messing up the name of that charity a little bit, but I think that's part of also his journey. We haven't really gotten too much into it, but I guess what I've hinted at and what I definitely know in my own head is that Curtis, Marcus's dad, did come from some harsher circumstances, and that part of the reason he's so on Marcus about putting like the right foot forward, putting the right image forward, and all that type of stuff is because he knows what he came from, and he doesn't want Marcus to. Curtis knows where Curtis came from, and he doesn't want Marcus to fall back into the same, or to fall into the same environment. And so I think there's a little bit of that tension too, and I think Marcus gets it and kind of agrees with it, but like any son is also a little bit rebellious towards that authoritarian, heavy-handed way that his dad's kind of trying to push this perspective on him. So yeah, I do definitely agree, and I think we've even seen a little bit of, even just in some of the small court cases we've seen, and the way that Marcus is reacting to it. I think we've also seen that he realizes that like you said, I think you have to work twice as hard for this kind of same result or the same respect. There's a little bit of that with Marcus, but I think he's also to more of his journey is also seeing it more for others that maybe weren't as advantaged as he is, which is why this second story arc he's actually trying to trying to join this firm that is more in charge of like protecting civil rights and doing stuff to help a disenfranchised community out. And so that's, I think, part of what his next step in their journey, or his next step in his growth in as a character, is kind of trying to see if that's something that he truly can get invested in and try to help others become as, maybe not as advantaged as him, but get a little bit more advantaged, and specifically minorities, of course.
Right, absolutely. But and I like on the other side, with Hunter, you still have this this sort of working class trauma, especially in the age of opioid epidemics.
Yep.
You have a guy whose mother has clearly dealt with this issue. Maybe he's dealt with it a little bit. I don't know. That's not necessarily clear at this point to me.
Right. It has. I haven't said anything either way. Yep.
Right.
Or nothing's been said anyway either way in the comic.
Yeah, but because of this, his mother struggles with it. He has had to really face some issues in his life, and it's led to sort of the big finale of the first arc, which is coming back with some. I noticed the sort of PTSD-esque flashback in this upcoming issue.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's something I wanted to kind of portray, that this action Hunter does in issue 6 isn't something that he does necessarily like offhandedly or flippantly. It's something that, or maybe it is possible that he actually does commit that action a little bit flippantly, but that's not how he's going to be dealing with it, and it's not going to be as easy to shake off and kind of dismiss or repress as he might think it's going to be. And that's definitely something that I've been trying to kind of deal with, to try to make it a little, again, I guess, more realistic. But it's also a big, I guess, central theme of this whole series, is the idea of how do people cope with trauma or with any type of anything in the past that doesn't go their way, whether it's somebody acting negatively towards them or them doing something negative themselves. So I think that we're going to have a couple of times that we kind of hit that beat of people have to deal with the bad things they did in the past, and their coping strategies, the way that they choose to deal with that, can affect whether they're successful or not, of course.
Right, absolutely.
Which, as we see maybe in issue 8, he's dealing with, or he's reliving it, but he's not necessarily dealing with it or processing it, which probably is not super healthy, of course.
Right. Well, I think it's pretty close to the actual like dictionary definition of what PTSD is.
Yeah, and that's. I guess maybe I've taught like the things they carried and other stuff, some other war texts. So maybe that's also something that wormed its way into my head. That the more that I've taught those texts, the more I've dealt with teaching PTSD, and the more that kind of just. I mean, I was intending to kind of show that it was traumatizing, but I guess maybe I didn't even know how much I was being on the nose with that, just because it seems almost like something that it just seems common sense to me because of maybe how much I've taught it and dealt with it in literature. But also there are some students I've had who definitely struggle from PTSD, and so there's maybe just seeing it so much and talking about it so much, it's something that just kind of filtered into this text somewhat consciously and then somewhat even unconsciously.
Right, absolutely. Well, but I think that's one of the things that makes your story so relatable and so so realistic, as you said. I think that's one of the things that really has grabbed me about it is, I mean, obviously with Marvel and DC, you're looking at superheroes, but I mean, you're telling a story of more or less everyday heroes and everyday villains, and it's a much grayer thing, reality.
Yep, I couldn't put it better myself.
Yeah, so I think it's fantastic, and I'm so excited to see where this is going.
Yeah, thanks. And yeah, I mean, even though I have it laid out and all planned out, I'm even excited because, like I mentioned earlier, I sometimes tailor things or change things based off of the dynamic with Juan and just also what I've been seeing. So even though I kind of know where I'm going, it is also cool to see just the small tweaks I make, but and even if I don't make tweaks just to see what Juan brings up. And I think that's also been something that's been helpful, is working with somebody who is I mean, Juan lives in Argentina, and so I think it's nice to have somebody from an outside perspective to kind of bring in a little bit more of that realism, a little bit more of a kind of a nuanced perspective on character. So yeah, it's exciting, and I just hopefully I keep it up and kind of stick the landing, I guess, as they say.
Right. Yeah, I think you'll be fine. It's been fantastic so far.
Yeah, thank you.
You are welcome.
Hey, real quick, and so okay, so with Rebirth of a Gangster, is this currently the only project you're working on? Is there any side projects that you're currently doing?
So I do actually. Well, so non-comic related, I do, or I guess non-comic format related, I do write for graphicpolicy.com, which is a website that is focused on comics. So that's why I said it's still comic related, but it's strictly articles and stuff like that. So that's something that I do. I kind of I guess in last fall I took a pretty big break from it, but the last month or 2 months I've been kind of consistent with once a week doing something, posting something on there. In addition to that, I did, I think as I mentioned in the last time I was here, I had a story in an excerpt from issue 3 of Rebirth of the Gangster that was in the If anthology by Alterna Comics. The 2017 one was a crime theme, and the 2018 one is actually a horror-themed anthology. And there's actually a 6-page excerpt that I worked with Juan Romero for a larger story, which I think I'd mentioned before, called The Others Behind the Wall, which is kind of a sci-fi horror fusion. So I actually just submitted that to the If anthology, so I'm hoping that gets accepted. I did tweak it a little bit to make it kind of self-contained because the original 6 pages that I sent were actually part of like a larger graphic novel and larger story arc, but I tweaked it to make this just a short self-contained story. And then something that I've been kind of working on, but I haven't really found an artist for or anything like that yet, is this fantasy book called Mapping Mythland. And it's actually something that I've been kind of writing for my girlfriend with like a couple new chapters each, kind of like big event, like anniversary, Christmas, that birthday, that type of stuff. So I would say I'm probably about a quarter to a third done with that. And that's something that I would actually like to release, both as I'm writing it right now just as a traditional text, but I would also like to release it as a fusion where it's some of it's traditional text and some of it's kind of more in the graphic novel format. And without kind of getting too far down this rabbit hole, essentially it's a fantasy, I guess, yeah. It's a fantasy story where kind of each chapter alternates. The main story arc is with characters Chris and Carrie, who are myself and my girlfriend, and they kind of are big fans of this series called Mapping Mythland, and then they actually get sucked into it, and so the alternate chapters are actually chapters or excerpts from the Mapping Mythland series. And so I would like, my kind of goal is to have like the main story arc be in comic format, but then those excerpts from the Mapping Mythland series be just in traditional text with maybe a couple images here and there, like almost like a traditional like Wind in the Willows or other type of like children's book fairy tale type thing. So that's kind of what I've been working on lately. Although, again, like I said, I've reached out to an artist I don't have an artist yet. I've reached out to somebody and she seemed like she was interested in it. But to be honest, it's been about like half a year since she expressed that interest. So I might need to find somebody else to illustrate it. But those are kind of what I'm working on. And part of it is I'd like to work on more, but just with this and teaching, it's pretty hard to do. Hopefully this summer, when I do teach summer school, but I definitely have much more free time in the summer. Hopefully I'll be able to also kind of finalize some of these projects, but also start something new. Last summer, I was so focused on getting the print edition that I didn't really have much time for any other writing or anything else that wasn't Rebirth of the Gangster focused.
Okay. The reason I was asking about like any additional projects and everything, because whenever I look at your comics, like all this entire series that's been going up until this point, I love how real like your comic book feels. Like it's, Thanks. I mean, everything inside of it's something that could happen in real life. It's something that any ordinary, normal, everyday person could experience. It's not like you know, it's not like when you look at like the Avengers and stuff like that, and you have like, you know, superhumans and all this stuff.
Right.
I mean, it's real people going through real situations inside the comic book. And I mean, this is something that I could see like as like a web series or something like that. That would be amazing to watch. You know, like something live action. And you know, and that's not saying, you know, to take away from the comic books, because comic books are
Right.
amazing. The art's amazing. The writing is incredible. If this ever became like a web series, I mean, that would be something awesome to watch as well. And that's
Yeah, it would be really cool. And
Mhm.
actually, I mean, I don't take any offense. I think it's always cool to see things adapted into new mediums or new media. And actually, I was asked by some interviewer, I think it was Barbara Dillon of Fanbase
Mhm.
Press, what I would view if it was going to be adapted as a TV show or film or anything like that, how I would like to see it be adapted. And I think it would be perfect as like an anthology show, almost like American Horror Story, where actually the first season would be just the story arc that is going to be my 24 issues, the whole series itself, and then later seasons would kind of keep like the realistic yet gritty crime noir feel to it and just follow new characters, new story arcs. So that's if I had the ears of a Hollywood exec, that's probably what I'd be pushing. But yeah,
Well,
I do think it'd be really cool to see it just in live action, especially since I am with like omitting narration and captions and stuff like that. I really am trying to make Rebirth of the Gangster feel filmic.
I got you. Well, let's hypothetically, let's say that Rebirth of the Gangster gets made into like a motion picture, and it's made by Paramount, just a huge, and you could have any actor portray your characters. Who do you think would play these roles in these movies?
So, I don't have too many actors in mind for most of the characters, but when I was describing Marcus to Juan Romero, I was thinking Michael B. Jordan pretty much the whole time. I think he ended up looking a little bit like a fusion between Michael B. Jordan and former President Obama, but that was in my head. I was really thinking Michael B. Jordan. It might have had something to do with the fact that I had just binge watched a bunch of Friday Night Lights, which he did incredibly on. But that's who I know that if I had like my pick of actors and money and all that stuff was no object, I know Marcus. I would love to be Michael B. Jordan. I don't really have anybody else. I haven't really envisioned anybody else necessarily for any of the other roles. So that's
the
something
one
I need to think about a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, the one that came to my mind and like Hunter, when I first like saw the character, like, you know, visually inside the picture, but even thinking about what kind of character he was, I instantly thought of Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy.
Oh yeah, I definitely with Charlie Hunnam. Yeah,
Charlie Hunnam. I think Charlie Hunnam would make a
perfect.
great Hunter.
Yeah, I completely agree, and that's actually I think a lot of I do think a lot of Hunter's journey in some ways parallels or mimics Jax Teller's journey in Sons of Anarchy, or at least this kind of like I guess all of the characters in Rebirth of the Gangster have the legacy effect on them, but of course Hunter especially does so, and so did Jax Teller with his dad, and then of course I guess I don't know if I should spoil it, even though it's like years old, but I guess with Clay and his mom's kind of betrayal of his dad, there's some legacy kind of weighing Jax down, and he has to decide whether he wants to live that life or kind of do something else. And I think that's a little bit of what Hunter's feeling, although obviously we've seen that he's probably embraced this criminal lifestyle a little bit more wholeheartedly than Jax at least did at first.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. And I love Sons of Anarchy. So
no, I do too. And I mean, I heard rumors that there's gonna be 2 spinoffs, and I don't know how much truth there is to those, but if there are, that'd be awesome. But I mean, the thing like where like I think like when I looked at Hunter and I instantly went to Jax, I think it's because of the realism that both characters portrayed within their, you know, respective roles. You know, I mean, because I mean, you could look at your comic, and I mean, you can't even. If I was to look at this and it was just like a novel base, it wasn't pictures or anything, it was just a novel base, I would swear it'd be like a biography of, you know, these people's lives. You know, it's just there's no like, it does not seem like it's like made up. It seems like it was true events that got put into a comic form, and it's absolutely amazing. And it's kind of like you said earlier, like, you know, it's not like, you know, explosion and everything. Like everything is so like detailed to the story that you want to follow each character down their own path and see where everyone keeps leading up. And I mean, for a comic to do that is absolutely amazing, and it's different. Like your comic is different than all the other ones that we've interviewed about that I looked into, and I love that because it gives you, a different perspective, a different view on a comic book.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and I think that is definitely something I've been pretty intent and purposeful on trying to do. There are some times where, as I've been writing, based off of either my initial outline or a new idea I had, I was like, oh, I want to take this character in this direction, but it didn't feel authentic to that character. And part of it felt like I was trying to take the character in a direction just to get to action a little bit sooner. And so there are definitely times throughout the whole year and a half, 2 years I've been writing this and working on this, where I've felt that pull to try to, I guess, take the easy way out for some like more quick action, or to try to move a character on their journey a little bit quicker than they normally would. And I've been fortunate enough, maybe not all the time, but at least most of the time, to kind of resist that urge and really focus on what feels authentic to the character, what feels authentic and true to this story and setting. And that's something that has really been a big focus of mine, to try to get it that feel of realism and feel like these characters are true to life, even though of course it is all made up. And the purpose is to also entertain people with some cool action and stuff like that. So I'm trying to kind of, I guess, balance both those worlds. And I think as a writer, if I've erred on one side, it's been more on the side of trying to be authentic and real with the characters, and trying to kind of let things develop at their own pace, which makes sense, instead of forcing it to kind of follow some path that I'm really making.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So when is the release date of the next issue, and where can they find every issue that has already been released?
Sure, yeah. So it's February 28th, which should be the Wednesday. If the 28th is not the Wednesday, it's the Wednesday right around February 28th is when it'll be released. It'll be released on Amazon, and then every back issue is also available on Amazon. You can also, so I release individual issues as digital issues, and then the only print copy is the first 6-issue story arc, which is also on Amazon, although you can find that on CreateSpace, which, to be quite honest, when people buy it from CreateSpace, it gets me a little bit more money than when people buy it from Amazon, just because Amazon takes a bigger cut, which is weird because they're owned by the same, or Amazon owns CreateSpace, but that's a whole different story. So yeah, if people want to go, Amazon's the easiest way to find it. Otherwise, to find the way to the CreateSpace version, you can just go to cjstandalproductions.com, and then I actually have a tab that's called Store, and that actually directs everybody, or directs to people to Amazon, to CreateSpace, and also actually each individual issue and the digital first story arc are also available on Comixology if people prefer that. So those are kind of the three main spots where people can find it, and they can go just to CreateSpace, Comixology, Amazon, and just kind of search there, or they can go to cjstandalproductions.com, and there's that tab that says Store, and that's where I link to every spot that people can buy it. So that's kind of where people can find it now. I'm actually going to do another quick plug, and I don't know quite the date, but I think it's March 11th. In Madison is MightyCon, and it'll actually be my first convention appearance ever. So I'm bringing some copies of Rebirth and Gangster, and even some copies of the If anthology there. So if anybody's in the Madison, Wisconsin area, come down to MightyCon March 11th.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you can make it to Chicago at some point too, because we'd love to see you out here.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's kind of, I live in Wisconsin, and Madison's close to where I live.
Yeah.
So I kind of, since I haven't done a convention before, I've done some signings at some of my local comic stores, but since I haven't done a convention before, I kind of wanted to keep it local and keep it a little bit easier, especially during the school year. And my goal is more during the summer to do kind of like Chicago, Minneapolis, some of those other conventions that are close to me, but that maybe take a little bit more travel time and stuff like that. And so during the summer, when I have while I'm teaching summer school, I have 3-day weekends, and then I have all of August where I don't teach summer school, where I have more time. And so I'm hoping to be able to fit in some conventions more in the summer when I have that time to kind of really travel, relax, and really, I guess, bring kind of the energy I want to bring to a convention that's out of town.
Absolutely.
I gotcha. Perfect.
But yeah, if I go to Chicago, I'll let you guys know, definitely.
I appreciate it, man. And I know you mentioned where you could buy the book and everything. I know, and I know you mentioned the convention, but where can they find you personally on social media and everything? So if somebody wanted to kind of reach out to you.
Sure, yeah. So I'm most active on Twitter. That's CJ_Standal. And for those who don't know how to spell, Standal is STAN as in Nancy, DAL. So CJ_Standal is my Twitter handle. And then I also am on Facebook. That's just CJ Standal, capital C, capital J, space Standal. And then I guess I do have an Instagram account, but I don't really use it. I really mainly use Twitter and then Facebook a little bit now and then. So those are the social media handles, that's where you find me social media wise. Or like I said, cjstandalproductions.com is my website.
Perfect. Cool. Like we mentioned earlier, this appearance on this freaking show makes you tied for the most comeback guest. So,
Awesome.
So I appreciate you like not only taking the time out this evening to be on our show, but I mean to be on our show 6 times is it's incredible, and and hopefully the next time you're on it's not such a large gap as it was this time because we enjoy having you on and talking to you, and I mean it fills my heart with like such like honor, I guess you could say, that we were here through the whole like generation of Rebirth of a Gangster.
Yeah, it's really exciting that I've been able to kind of revisit and come back to you guys so much. And yeah, you said you're honored that I'm coming to and kind of letting you in on this journey, but I'm also just really honored that you guys have been with me for the whole journey too. I mean, I've had some other podcasts, but none have really been as consistent in like making a spot for me and making time for me to come and talk. And so I really appreciate all the effort you guys have done to kind of help expose me more to the world and just really talk. And I just really appreciate talking to you guys too. Thanks.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Always our pleasure.
Yeah. Anytime you want to come back, we're here. We are friends for life, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, thanks.
You are stuck
right back at you. And yeah, it's not going to be quite as big of a gap this next time. It's not going to be half a year until I come back. That's definite.
Perfect. Yeah. Anytime you want to come back, just shoot me a message, shoot Joey a message, or Colin. Just let us know. Hey, I've got another release coming out. Let me get on here, and we'll definitely make time to get you on here so we can talk more about Rebirth of Gangster, more about you, and who knows, maybe by that next time, maybe you'll have more conventions lined up and stuff like that. So it'll be awesome to catch up with you again in the future here.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, again, thanks for coming on here. Let's plug a podcast, and when we come back, we could do the Follow Your Star Award.
News on the march.
The year 2014. 2 best friends set out on a journey to produce the best content related to all things film. In 2015, they founded a podcast to share their passions with the world. From rants, lisps, and beer to trailers, challenges, and premieres, Nick and Justin have you covered. Find the Epic Film Guys podcast at epicfilmguys.podbean.com and follow the show on Twitter. And we'll see you at the movies.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and like we mentioned, make sure you check out CJ Standal on Rebirth of a Gangster. Make sure you go to his website, cjstandalproductions.com, and buy his comic. You will get as much enjoyment out of that comic as I get annoyance out of Colin's cough over the microphone.
That's a lot. It's a lot of enjoyment. Really.
Oh shit. Make sure you check him out. It's always good to have CJ on. I'm glad that we're able to get him on again. And real quick before we get into the Follow Your Star Award, and of course Colin's flick pick of the week, or Colin's movie pick. Awkward pick of the week. I'm just gonna give you guys a quick rundown. So if you want to listen to all of CJ Standal's episodes on this freaking show, episode 1, season 1, episode 27, season 1, episode 36, season 1, episode 50, season 2, episode 29, and season 2, episode 36 are all 5 previous shows that CJ was on, so you can follow the entire history of CJ Standal on this freaking show, as well as the entire legacy of Rebirth of Gangster. Okay, I am done talking. Oh, yeah, there we go. There's Joey's response. Fuck, Joe.
Sorry. I'm looking at Madison Comic Con, Madison Mighty Con, and
oh yeah, no, it's
I'm
okay. I mean,
about it.
yeah, no, go ahead. You look at that, and you come back when you're ready to record a podcast. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Excellent.
Oh, you good? You back now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks
Well,
for
since
the
you're
call out.
back, yeah, no, you good? Go ahead.
Yep.
I'll wait for you to start talking. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm good.
You fucking. Oh shit! Awesome. Joe, why don't you go ahead and let's hear the recipient of the Fire Star Award for the month of February.
Well, this month's recipient of the Follow Your Star Award is another sarcastic award. I don't know if I'm just like struggling to exist in the world these days or what it is, but I just keep running into companies that cannot seem to get out of their own way in terms of how they exist. This afternoon, I found myself at TJ Maxx, and all I wanted to do was return something that someone had bought me as a present, and I hadn't had a chance. I got two of the same thing, and they have a return policy that made it so that I couldn't return it, or even get a gift card or exchange it for something else in the store, which is BS because they have the same thing on the shelf. But it was the worst shopping experience of my entire life there at the TJ Maxx. And what I like to call it is like going to a bougie Goodwill. You know, like everything is pretty cheap. Not as cheap as Goodwill, but pretty cheap. And because everything seems like it's nicer than you'd find at a Goodwill, the place was packed. It was at least a 90-minute wait in the checkout line, which is just insane. Get your shit together, first of all. Second of all, how about you separate your return line from your checkout line? Maybe have a customer service area that people could go to so that they don't have to wait in the checkout line to get a gift card to shop in the rest of the store. And I couldn't even get that. You know what I mean? Like their policy prevented me from shopping at their store any further, unless I wanted to use my own money, which I wasn't going to do at the crap hole that was the TJ Maxx. So TJ Maxx, you go ahead and follow your star right down into the ground. Live your best life.
Live your best life.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Joe.
I've never been more pissed in my life.
I could tell. I mean, even you didn't even seem that mad at Skype last month, man.
No, I wasn't. I expect this from Skype.
I expect it from Skype, but not you, TJ Maxx.
I've never been to a TJ Maxx before, but the name always sounded nice to me.
Right? I mean, it sounds like a guy that can loan you a pen when you don't have one in class, you know?
Right?
Hey, TJ, you got a pen I can borrow? Thanks, man.
Yeah.
And he gives it to you, and the fucking thing explodes all over.
Right?
I get you.
Or
right?
it's like one of them Shocky pens.
It's Shocky. You click it, zaps you and shit. He's over there looking at you, laughing. Everyone's laughing. You pee yourself a little. The girl you like is all grossed out and shit. And you gotta go home, fucking hide in the closet and shit like that. I get it.
Yeah. That's what it's like. That's exactly what it's like.
Right. I can sense that's what it is, you know? Holy shit.
Oh, it was terrible. Don't go to TJ Maxx unless you have to. That's my advice to you, listeners.
That's right. By the way, we do got a new sponsor of the show. TJ Maxx is
That would be perfect. Hey, TJ Maxx, if you want to sponsor the show and correct me, by all means.
Yeah. Depending on how much money.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say. No, fuck you, Joe. Fuck you, man. There's a reason your name is at the end of the intro, man. Go ahead. The shelves were utterly disorganized. I couldn't find my way around in the store. It was terrible. That's all I was going to say. It was like shopping in Grandma and Papa's garage. I just like how not only did you interrupt me while I was trying to give a statement, you interrupted me when I was allowing you to go forward with your statement. Like you could not wait the minute and a half it took for me to say, "Go ahead, Joe," and finish what you're saying, to just fucking interrupt me again.
I didn't have a minute and a half to wait. I waited in line for 90 minutes earlier today to go home with a French press I didn't want.
Isn't that just the worst? I didn't even want this French press.
Right?
Oh, the struggles of 2018.
I know. First world problems.
An unnecessary purchase of a French press.
I had to cool off by going to Best Buy and playing with the mobile phones.
Oh man, I know we normally typically title the episodes based on the fucking guests we have, but you can't pass up titling this episode "The Struggles of a French Press Purchase."
Yep.
Season 1, episode 8. I didn't even want this French press. If that doesn't draw an audience, I don't even know what we're doing here anymore.
Right?
I don't use the promo code French Press to save 10% at TJ Maxx. Holy shit!
Got to do it within 30 days of the receipt, though.
Right.
Even if you didn't buy it, you got to do it within 30 days of the receipt.
You have to do it within the 85-minute time frame of the 90-minute line.
Yep.
Oh my god! Come to TJ Maxx, where our coupons expired last year.
Yes.
Oh god! Next week, let's make TJ Maxx advertisements. Come to TJ Maxx. It may be broken when you get home, but that's your problem, ain't it? Oh, shit.
You bought it. You bought it.
You bought it.
You bought it. You bought it. Oh, come to TJ Maxx. We'll take your money. What? Oh shit! Holy fuck!
That's awesome.
Colin.
Yes.
What movie you got for us this week, good sir?
Oh, okay. Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of Awkward Flicks. It's where I give my little opinion on a movie that I have recently seen. And this week, it's going to be going back to 2017 with a good movie called Going in Style. This movie is with Michael Caine. Got their names. Michael Caine, Alan Arkin, and Morgan Freeman. 3 old guys. And they basically, obviously they're old, but the company that they're working for, they're all working for the same company, decide that you don't deserve a pension because we fucked up. So they got rid of their pension, and they're just like, yeah, we have no money, we're broke. So they end up deciding to rob a bank. It's I definitely say it was a really funny movie. I didn't really know who Alan Arkin was too much. But Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman, obviously, we all know who they are. They, like I said, they rob a bank, or they're planning on robbing the bank. The most of it is them going through the process of deciding if they're going to rob this bank, and then learning how to rob the bank. And they each have their own little things that's happening with them. Michael Caine, he has his granddaughter. And so does Morgan Freeman. Alan Arkin is more just like the, oh, hey, I'm the loner guy. I don't want a family or anything. But he's the stubborn one. He's like, I don't want to do this, rob the bank, but ends up deciding he wants in to do it. And overall it's a really good movie. If you want to see some really good actors try and rob a bank, I would definitely recommend this movie. And I'm going to give this movie a 4 out of 5 Awkwards. Again, this movie is called Going in Style. Fuck what the critics say. It's only got like a 6 out of 10, but nah. This deserves more. This is a funny movie. Especially with good old boy Morgan Freeman and Michael Caine, so...
I don't know how it could be a bad movie with those guys in it.
Right?
Yeah.
And also, Alan Arkin is... he plays like the old guy in Little Miss Sunshine, right? The grandpa?
Never seen it.
How have I named like one of the only movies you've ever seen 3 times on this show?
He put...
Colin, what year did that movie come out?
Yes.
It's been a couple years, right?
What's that?
When did this movie come out?
It came out last year.
Came out last year. I think it's on Comcast On Demand right now.
Yeah. I forgot where I watched.
Well, I know you don't have cable, but like I was I think I saw it and I was kind of iffy on like if I should watch it or not, but I'm gonna go based on what you said and I'm gonna go ahead and watch it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good one. I guess Alan Arkin, which now surprises me. I mean, it's been a long time and I never really pay attention too much to him. But he was in Edward Scissorhands. So.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. He was, was he wasn't the dad. That was one movie. I think he was the dad of Winona Ryder.
Gotcha.
But yeah, didn't know too much about him, but Edward Scissorhands is another great movie you need to go watch if you haven't ever seen it. Good old Johnny Depp.
It is delightful.
Winona Ryder.
I've come to really love Winona Ryder because of Stranger Things.
That's the only thing that I can remember her in is Stranger Things.
I know, right? Beetlejuice.
Oh, that's right. That was her.
Mm-hmm. But that's it. I don't know what else.
Was she the love interest of Adam Sandler and Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I know she's been in other movies such as those, but I mean that's Stranger Things is the only one that really pops out now because it's so recent. But
Didn't she play Sean Hunter in Boy Meets World?
I have no idea.
That was a joke. That was actually Ryder Strong.
Okay.
Oh God, this has been an episode.
Vincent
really
Price
has
also
been.
played in Edward Scissorhands.
Really?
Yes. He died
That's
in
fantastic.
1993.
Fun
I have
fact.
no idea who he is.
I don't know if you know this, guys, but speaking of Michael Caine, you know the guy who played Alfred in Batman vs Superman and Justice League? It wasn't him.
Oh,
but,
no. Well, I mean, Michael Caine
But
did
Alfred-
play an Alfred, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. But the comparison I'm trying to make here is Alfred. So the guy who played Alfred in the Batman movie,
Okay.
the new ones, he played the voice of Scar in The Lion King.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah. You're
I was,
right.
I was watching The Lion King the other day. Not the other day, but maybe like a week or so ago. And I was looking up the actors who played the voices and shit, like, Jonathan Taylor Thomas was Simba and all that shit. And I was looking up Scar, and I kept thinking, like, who is this guy? Comes to find out, they fucking pops up. I'm like, oh shit, it was fucking Alfred from Justice League. No shit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You know another good Morgan Freeman movie?
Huh.
Driving Miss Daisy.
Yes. Oh, what a great movie.
Very good movie. Actually, Morgan Freeman was in a lot of good fucking movies.
Morgan Freeman's a phenomenal actor. I love him.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I would love to meet him.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of any movie that he has been in that I wasn't like really a big fan of. I loved when he played God in Bruce Almighty, when he played the gunslinger in Unforgiven, when he played the leader in Wanted, but it turned out to be the bad guy. Along Came a Spider. I mean, fucking dude, he's a chameleon. He can play anything. Literally anything. Yeah, definitely a good guy. Hats off to you, Morgan Freeman. Never go to TJ Maxx. Joe, what are you freaking on this week?
I was freaking on TJ Maxx in my experience there. I'm still freaking on that.
Oh. Okay.
Yep. I'm too pissed to feel any other emotion.
Okay. I don't. I got no response for that, man. Let's move along. Just move along.
Fair. Travis, how about you? What are you freaking on this week?
All right. I guess we'll just skip Colin.
That's all right. We can come
I'm
back
just
to me.
changing up the order. I'm just fucking up this whole show. That's what I'm doing.
God, season
You're welcome.
3, episode 2. Joe goes rogue. What the fuck are you doing, man?
I don't know. But hey, I just remembered another thing I could be freaking on instead. That would
There
be
you go.
a happier thing.
Yeah,
I'm officiating a wedding at the end of the week.
Fuck you, Joe.
Look, I can't tell when you're going to respond to me, and Skype has a delay.
Fucking.
Look, I already gave Skype an award. They're heading out for being the first double recipient. That's all I'm saying.
Oh man. Oh, you know what? If CJ was not on this episode, this would be a huge dumpster fire right now, man. Holy shit. Well, not only did you use your Star Award as your week freakly, and then asked me what I wanted, and then interrupted me to give you what I was going to give as my freak weekly.
Well, I didn't specify which wedding I was officiating.
Oh my God! You and I need to have a short conversation at the top of a flight of stairs, my friend.
That seems fair.
Yeah,
I deserve that.
But no, as you asked, yeah, I'm freaking on the wedding we have this at the end of this week. We actually all of us are going to the same wedding. But I'm also excited for that this week I start my new day schedule. So I'm going to starting on Tuesday. I'll be working Tuesday through Saturday, 7 to 3:30 during the day. So I'm really excited about that as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean it kind of sucks having to work Saturdays, but I mean on the bright side, I still get out by 3:30. So depending on the traffic, I should be home by 5. So also I'm like 20 minutes away from Joey if I ever wanted to stop by there.
You could, and I'm home during the day most days.
See, perfect. See how life works.
You know what? And I even have 2 flights of stairs you could throw me down.
Yeah, right. You know, front or back. Possibilities are endless, bro.
Right?
Holy shit. Colin, of course we wouldn't forget about you. What are you freaking on this week, my friend?
This week I'm freaking out the fact that I finished all my homework that's due tonight. And I was dreading it, but I have figured out a way that's going to make it easy. Because this class I'm taking isn't a coding class, it's more of, hey, read the book and answer questions kind of class. Very hard for me to do. I'm not a reader. Fucking hate it. I fear that I'm going to fail this class because of it. I've been really dreading it, but I have to see how I do on these homework assignments. Hopefully not too bad. I had to answer questions for the class. I gotta say, probably made a minimum of 3-page Word documents for each homework assignment that I had. But what I figured out I can do is all I do is look at the question.
All I do is win.
And then figure out what I'm
going
going to answer. But instead of typing it, I literally just speak it to my phone. So where it types itself. And then,
nice.
I mean, and since it's not the greatest on dictating, I'll
Hey, you made it. I'm world's greatest.
copy it to the computer and then I fix it up, just make it a little cleaner looking. But yeah.
Nice.
So, on the positive side, all the homework assignments are due at the end of the month. So, it gives me time to actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, whether or not they're going to be correct, who the fuck knows? That's what I really don't like about it. But I can miss about 273 points in this class and I'll still have a C. So, let's hopefully it doesn't come down to that and I do a little better. But, I mean, on the extra positive side, I only need a D to pass the class, so...
Right? C's get degrees.
Well, Colin,
D's
I hope you get that D you're looking for.
I'm not looking for a D.
That big...
Shut up, Travis.
Bad D. That fucking D. As long as you're happy when you get that D, that's all that matters.
Shut up, Travis.
Satisfied. You don't need to be happy. You can just be satisfied with it.
That's right.
So.
If I could, I'd give you the D, Colin, but I'm not your teacher.
That's good to know.
Gross.
Gross.
I didn't know where my line was. You just found it.
Season 3, episode 8. Colin gets the D.
No.
Oh, shit. Hey, quick fun fact for you guys. Our current most downloaded episode is last week's episode when Steam Hollow Brewing was on.
Nice.
Really excited about that one. Congratulations to Steam Hollow Brewing for now being the most downloaded episode of this freaking show.
Still want to know where it's at.
Yeah, I want to say it's off the highway. I'm not sure exactly where, but I think there's that warehouse facility that's on the west side of the highway when you head south on 57. I think it's right there, but I could be completely and utterly wrong. But that is a location that I know of.
Oh,
yeah.
There.
So, best thing we could do is we could easily just ask Steam Hollow Brewing where they're going to be located. It was unfortunate because they were brewing today, and we weren't able to make it. So, Steam Hollow Brewing, if you're listening to this, we do apologize for not being able to make it out to your brewing this evening, but we definitely look forward to seeing one in the future.
How'd you know that they were brewing?
They messaged us.
Oh.
They did?
Yes, they did.
Cool.
Thanks for not telling me.
Yeah. Well, we all had busy days today.
I've been sitting on my ass doing homework all day.
You went to Red Robin and had a Blue Moon
okay,
milkshake.
So, yeah, about that. That shake was really good. And I was enjoying it was really good, and I even ordered myself a second one. I'm like, I haven't even got my meal yet. I'm going to order myself a second beer shake. And then the fucking building starts on fire.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I thought you were joking about that.
No. They're closed down till further notice.
Oh, wow. So they were really on fire. It wasn't like man.
I mean, when the alarm started going off and it was super loud, but everybody just sat there. Nobody really gave a damn that the alarm was going off. We're all just like, oh, okay, it's an alarm. Until the one lady comes out of the kitchen and is just like, everybody has to get up and get outside and all that. When they open the door, you just see a whole bunch of smoke back there. I mean, you didn't see any flames or anything, but everybody gets outside the building, and then they're like, yeah, we're going to be closed for a while, so you might as well just leave. We were walking back to the car, and you just see black smoke pouring out the top of the building. So, but
wow.
Hey, I saved myself $30 there. So.
Yeah, no kidding.
Actually, more of what I got was about $30. So.
Was that the one in Orland?
Yeah.
Oh man.
The thing that's shitty is we went there because Sam has a coupon for a free birthday meal, a birthday burger.
Yep.
And it like expires next weekend or next week sometime.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's just like, hopefully if they don't open, I guess we're going to have to go to Cherville. So,
Oh shit.
or to use it. But I will definitely be having a Blue Moon Shake again because that was really good.
How far is Cherville from you?
It's okay. So, well, according to the Red Robin website, when I did a location search, it said Cherville was 26.9 miles from me, and then the Orland Park one is 29.7 miles.
Okay, because there's one right by me too, up in Forest Park.
Yeah. Whether or not
I don't know what's closer to you.
It's hard to say if I believe that or not.
You think I just lied to you like that?
No, not about what you were, not about not what you were saying about about them saying that the Cherville's closer.
Oh, gotcha.
Not you, Joe.
I can't anymore with you people. Oh God, I think I almost had a heart attack.
Oh man, don't do that.
I know, right? God, die live on recording. Holy shit. You think I lied to you about me? Oh shit. This has been the greatest episode of my life. Like if you ever lived the saying end on a high note, this would be the last episode of this freaking show. Hey Joe.
Yes.
Fuck yes. Every week our listeners can catch Geekcast Joe here on this freaking show. But if 1 hour a week of Geekcast Joe just isn't enough for our listeners, where can we send them off to find more Geekcast Joe?
If you need more interruption in your life, you can find me over at the Geekcast Live podcast at gcl.ninja. You can also find us on Facebook, iTunes, Google Play, and Twitter by searching Geekcast Live.
Good job, Joe.
I'm here for you.
Yeah, obviously. All right, guys. That's gonna be wrapping up our episode of this freaking show for the week. If you ever want to be part of it or interrupt me as much as Joe does, send us a message at Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter just by searching This Freaking Show, or email us at thisfreakingshow@yahoo.com. Give us your comments, concerns, or requests to be a guest on the show. It's not that we only do creators of beer and comics and movies and music. We'll bring average people onto this fucking show. I had a coworker, Joe, who came on. And we talked about Marvel. I mean, we'll allow anyone on our show, to sit and talk with us because that's what we love to do. But yeah, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter just by searching This Freaking Show. Email us for anything you have, and make sure that you let your friends know that you can find This Freaking Show on iTunes, Google Play Music, hopefully soon Spotify, and of course on Podbean. As always, I am Travesty.
I'm Awkward Colin.
And
thank you for listening to another episode of This Freaking Show. Ain't fun, it isn't, Joe. It ain't that fun, is it?
So do we want to retry that?
No, we're not going to retry that.
Okay.
I'm out.